Man like Robbie here. Welcome along to MLR Daily. The big news today is all about Arsenal. Arsenal in crisis, as a lot of the newspapers are saying. And it all is around the situation with the manager, Arsene Wenger. He gave a press conference yesterday in which he was, not very clear on what the situation is going to be with him, whether he's staying, whether he's going. Came out with a statement where he said that I'll definitely be managing somewhere next season. Now, will that be at Arsenal? Will that be abroad? There's a lot of outlets suggesting today that he's almost putting out a sort of a come and get me type message to some of the top clubs around the world. They're saying that Real Madrid are interested, Barcelona interested. Listen, there's no doubt that he's still, going to be a top manager. He's still going to be one of the biggest names out there when it comes to management. So I think he could get a management job abroad. But my understanding is that he'd also still love to stay at Arsenal. Whether the fans still want him there, that's another question. And the Daily Mirror, they even caught up with his brother yesterday, his brother described the situation at the moment as not good, which I think is one of the understatements of the year. Certainly at the moment, it's a real mess around Arsenal. Of course, they got the FA Cup game coming up on Monday against Sutton United. I mean, if they lost that, I think that would definitely be the end of Arsene Wenger. But listen, this is going to rumble on until the club come out or Arsene Wenger comes out and clearly says what's going to be happening with his situation. I mean, this is a huge, huge story because Arsene Wenger's been the manager at Arsenal for 20 years. And when he does go, or if he does go, it's going to be huge, huge in the world of football. So let's keep our eyes on this one. But at the moment, a lot of papers saying that Arsenal are in crisis at the moment. Other people in crisis at the moment seem to be the referees in the UK. Now, this came out of the blue this week. Mark Clattenburg left his refereeing job in the UK. Of course, Mark Clattenburg is the #1 referee in this country, respected by all the players, leaving to go and take up a role in Saudi Arabia, where he's going to be basically in charge of all the referees over there. Obviously, going to get paid a lot of money, but a real shockwave through the Premier League, that their #1 referee has left. Now news today that the other referee that is, a lot of people think is going to be the best referee, up and coming guy, Michael Oliver, he's only 31, referees all the top games. Apparently now today he's been linked with a move to the MLS. And again, if they were to lose Michael Oliver, this again would be massive. Oliver, as I said, another one of the top referees. There's a lot of rumours going around that a lot of the referees are totally disillusioned with the governing referee, who is Mike Riley. He's in charge of all of them. They're really disillusioned with him and how everything's being run. And there's a lot of money on offer from China, from Saudi Arabia, from the MLS. And they're like, well, why stay over here and take all the stress of this when I can go and do that? And it is a bit of a crisis with referees at the moment. There's already a problem with getting enough referees into the game. And the money from, around the world now is even tempting away our referees as well as our players. Wayne Rooney today. Apparently, the Chinese, they still desperately would love to bring Wayne Rooney over to China. The Chinese window, of course, closes this month on the 28th of February. Now, it's said that he could earn up to £52 million a year, tax-free. Jeez. £52 million a year. That's the sort of money they pay. And of course, Manchester United, the biggest club in China, everybody knows who Wayne Rooney is over there. So all of those Chinese clubs would love to get their hands on him because basically it would be the biggest signing that any of them have made. And will Wayne Rooney decide to go to China? Is he sitting at home at the moment learning Cantonese? We'll have to wait and see. There are rumours that Manchester United would like to get him off of the wage bill because he's on a decent wage there as well. He's getting £300,000 a week. So let's not feel that he's not getting paid well here. Would Rooney decide to go to China, or would he decide that maybe I could go to Europe or somewhere like that and challenge myself? Because I still think Rooney's got a lot of football left in him. He's still got a lot of football left in him, and he might say to himself, well, maybe I could get, be playing for one of those top teams in Europe, or maybe even go back to Everton, where it all started for him, though, you know. So really, really interesting to see. But 28th of February, that's when the window closes. So let's see what happens between now and then. The Gary Neville video is out. So if you want to check that out, it's out over on Arsenal Fan TV. As you know, I've got to sit down with Gary Neville along with a load of Arsenal fans and have a chat with him about some of his recent comments. Really, really good interview. It's flying at the moment. It's already had like 500,000 views in less than 24 hours. And that's just only on YouTube alone. It's been absolutely flying. So get over there on Arsenal Fan TV and check that out, the Gary Neville interview. And you know what? Respect to him for doing that interview. There's not a lot of ex-players and footballers, etc., who would have fronted up like what he did. And I really got a lot of respect for him for doing that. Of course, today is the FA Cup, and there's some great fixtures today. Burnley versus Lincoln, Huddersfield versus Manchester City, Middlesbrough versus Oxford. There could be a shock there. That's one that I think's a shock. The one that I really think there could be a shock at is Millwall versus Leicester City. Leicester apparently going to be resting loads of players. And Wolves versus Chelsea. Chelsea will go strong because basically they've got the league and the FA Cup, and they'd love to do the double, so I can see them going with a strong team. What is it with all these teams resting players? Even Championship teams now resting players. You know, I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, I understand Leicester, that they'll have to rest players. They've got a Champions League game next week, and then they've also got the league where they're really struggling in. So obviously the priorities are going to be a little bit lower, and that's why I really fancy Millwall in this one, because Leicester's priority is going to be elsewhere. Man City might rest a few because obviously they've got, Champions League football next week as well. But Burnley, you know, I heard Sean Dyche saying he's going to rest players. Why? You know, you're not going to win the league. You're not going to go down. Surely try and bring a bit of glory to Burnley. Try and win something for once. I mean, I know he's going to be thinking to himself, well, I backed my second string guys to beat a non-league team in Lincoln, but we've seen what Lincoln have been doing. And Jose Mourinho was saying, you know, that he's felt that over the years a lot of teams have disrespected the FA Cup, and he doesn't do that. He'll go with strong teams to try and win it. And they won it last year by doing that. So I don't get this resting of players thing. I don't know what you guys think. I want to start a little debate on it. What do you think? Do you think that teams should rest players for the FA Cup and give other players in the squad a chance to play? Because this, after all, is how we sometimes get to see some of these fringe players. Or do you think that we should always, if you support a club, go with whatever the strongest team is and try and win the game and try and win the FA Cup? I'm going to do a poll on it, yes or no. Let me know. Thanks for watching MLR Daily. Don't forget, we're here every single day with the football news. Man like Robbie.
Man like Robbie.